Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into how to master your mind. And not by fighting it, but by actually understanding its true nature, using wisdom from Zen masters and even martial arts legends. So let's just start with a question, and I bet this one hits pretty close to home for a lot of you. Does your mind ever feel like it's just in constant motion, jumping from one thought to the next with absolutely no off switch? You know, there's this ancient analogy that just nails this feeling perfectly. They call it the monkey mind. It's that relentless internal chatter, right? That constant leaping from something you regret in the past to something you're worried about in the future. Now, this state of inner chaos, it isn't just some random fleeting feeling. It's a fundamental part of how an untrained mind works. And really getting that is the very first step toward finding some stillness. But what's our usual instinct when we're faced with all that noise? Well, when that monkey mind starts screaming, our gut reaction is to try and cage it, right? To force it to be quiet. We try to suppress the thoughts we don't like. But as one brilliant Zen story shows us, that is a total trap. And that leads us right into this idea, the trap of fighting your own thoughts. So the story goes something like this. A man, just desperate for some inner peace, goes to a Zen master. The master gives him a mantra and just one simple rule. Whatever you do, do not think of a monkey. So what happens? Of course, the man's mind is instantly flooded with nothing but monkeys. It's all he can think about. And that's the whole point, isn't it? Trying to force a thought out of your head is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The moment you release that pressure, it shoots right back up, maybe even with more force. The very act of fighting a thought is what gives it its energy. Okay, so if fighting it is a trap, what's the alternative? The answer isn't to find a better distraction or to create even more mental noise. No, it's to cultivate something way more powerful, true conscious silence. And it's so important to get the distinction here. Silence is not just about being quiet. Being quiet is on the surface. It's just the absence of sound. True silence, that's a state of consciousness. It's about moving from a life of compulsion to a life of awareness. It's about going from the surface right down to the very core of who you are. And this inner state, it has this incredible dual power. On one hand, it's the source of inner peace. It lets you just observe your own mind without getting all tangled up in the drama. But on the other hand, it's a huge tool of strategic power out in the real world. Philosophers like Nietzsche knew this strategic power all too well. Think about it. If someone insults you and you just react emotionally, you've handed your power over to them. You've lost. But when you can hold that space, that little pause of silence before you respond, that's when you're in control. That's where the real strength is. So this all sounds incredibly powerful, right? But the real question is, how do we actually do it? How do we cultivate this inner stillness in our busy, nonstop modern lives? Well, the foundation for all of it is mindfulness. It's a concept you hear everywhere, from Shaolin temples to modern therapy. And really, it's just the simple but profound act of paying attention to the present moment, on purpose and without judging yourself. So here's a practical toolkit for you. This is all about shifting from that knee-jerk reaction to a conscious response. So instead of fighting your thoughts, just observe them. Let them pass like clouds in the sky. Use your breath as an anchor to pull you back to right here, right now. Try practicing mindful speech. See if you can say what you mean with half the words. And this one's big. Learn to just enjoy your own company. Sit alone, no music, no books, no phone. And finally, use that powerful pause to choose your battles. Before jumping in, just ask, is this really worth my energy? This ancient wisdom from the Buddha just nails why choosing your battles is so important. When you react with anger, you're not hurting the other person nearly as much as you're hurting yourself. It's like holding a hot coal, planning to throw it at someone else. You're the one who gets burned. Ultimately, the goal of all this practice isn't to become some silent hermit and just withdraw from the world. It's actually the exact opposite. It's about learning to engage with the world more powerfully, more authentically, from a place of deep inner clarity. The legend Bruce Lee hit on this exact point. He believed that true mastery wasn't about flashy techniques. It was about honest self-expression. And that kind of honesty is only possible when it comes from a calm, clear, quiet center. And his famous philosophy of being like water is really the ultimate expression of this whole idea. Water is powerful, not because it's rigid, but because it's adaptable. It can flow or it can crash. That power comes from a formless, empty, and quiet mind that is ready for anything. So we'll leave you with this to think about.
Imagine what you could achieve, what you could create, what you could become if that internal battle just stopped. What becomes possible when the monkey mind finally gets quiet? The answer isn't out there somewhere, it's right inside that stillness.